Okay, so let's jump right in. Imagine a social safety net that gives you total, rock-solid security, but without taking away your freedom to choose. It sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, that is the core promise of a model called the hybrid basic income. And honestly, it might just be the answer to some of the huge shifts we're all seeing in the world today. So here's what we've got lined up. First, we'll talk about why we even need new ideas, the problem of growing insecurity. Then, we'll introduce this hybrid answer. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of how its two-account system works. After that, we'll zoom out to look at the big vision. And we'll wrap it all up by asking the big question. Is this the future or just a really interesting utopia? All right, let's start with the big challenge, the thing that gets this whole conversation started in the first place. This growing feeling of insecurity in a world that's changing faster than ever. I mean, let's just ask the question that I think is on a lot of our minds. What actually happens when AI and robots start doing more and more of our jobs? What does that mean for us, for our financial security, for life as we know it? It's this very real concern that's a starting point for the whole model we're exploring. Because let's be real, this isn't some far-off future. It's happening now. That classic idea of getting a job and staying with one company until you retire, that's becoming a thing of the past. And all this new uncertainty is putting our social systems, which, were built for a totally different time, under massive, massive pressure. It's pretty clear we need to start thinking about some new ideas. And that is exactly where this really compelling idea comes into play, the hybrid basic income. It's a serious attempt to find a real answer for these brand new challenges. So what is it exactly? Well, at its heart, it's a super clever combination. On one hand, you've got a guaranteed safety net for your absolute basic needs. We're talking rent, food, that kind of stuff. And on the other hand, you have a totally free income you can use for whatever you want, giving you personal choice and a way to participate in society. And right here, you see the two core human needs is trying to bring together. The real genius of the idea isn't just providing one or the other, it's building a system that can actually deliver both security and freedom at the exact same time. The whole philosophy behind this is really a balancing act. The first goal is to create a safety net so strong that nobody can fall through the cracks. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it also aims to keep the dynamics of a market economy intact and protect the personal freedom of every single person. Now, that all sounds great in theory, right? But the million-dollar question is, how would this actually work day to day? So let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine room of this whole concept. The entire system is built on two pillars. You've got the basic provision account, which is specifically earmarked to make sure your basic needs are met. And right next to it, you've got the free account, which you can almost think of as a kind of unconditional pocket money that lets you actually live your life. So let's look at that first pillar. The basic provision account covers the true essentials, food, a roof over your head, healthcare, but also things that are necessities today, like getting around and having internet access. Payments for these things would be made with a special card, just to make sure the money is used for what it's for. So what does that feel like for you? Honestly, it's incredibly simple. You'd go to the supermarket just like you always do, use this special card to pay, and that's it. In the background, the state takes care of the bill directly with the store. But for you, the whole experience is seamless. It feels no different than any other shopping trip. Okay, but how does the system tell the difference between basic needs and, say, luxury items? This is where technology plays a really cool part. AI could use simple price rules to figure out if you're buying pasta or pricey champagne. This is what keeps the system flexible and avoids having a rigid planned economy. So that's the security part covered, but this is a hybrid model and it's not complete without freedom, and that's the entire point of the second pillar, the free account. This part is all about your individual liberty, your choices, and your ability to be a part of society. Every single citizen would get a fixed amount of money each month. Think of it as unconditional pocket money. And whether you spend that on a hobby, going out to eat, or just stick it in savings, that decision is 100% yours. No strings attached. And here's a fascinating side effect. The amount of this pocket money could actually be adjusted based on how the economy is doing, turning it into a powerful and flexible new tool for monetary policy. Pretty neat, right? All right, so we've seen the mechanics, the nuts and bolts. But now let's zoom out. What's the big picture vision here? Because this is about way more than just bank accounts and payments. It's a really ambitious attempt to rebalance the fundamental pillars of our society, security and freedom, for a totally new era. And this is where you can really see the elegant design of the whole system. Just look at how each feature is designed to do something specific, but they all connect. The provision account guarantees security for people, which in turn stabilizes demand for businesses. Then, on top of that, the free pocket money gives people consumer freedom, which can even be tweaked as a policy tool. It's a completely interconnected system where every part has a purpose. This quote really just nails the core idea perfectly. It's not about making an either-or choice between a pure welfare state on one side or a radical anything-goes basic income on the other. No, it's about taking the best parts of both ideas and combining them into something new, something hybrid that avoids the big weaknesses you'd find at either extreme. So, after all that, where does that leave us? Well, it brings us to the big final question that's hanging in the air. Is this hybrid model the next big step forward for our social security systems, or is it ultimately just a fascinating but maybe unreachable utopia? Honestly, the answer to that question is still unwritten. But one thing is for sure, the debate about ideas like this has only just begun.